We are all equal. It's time that we're all heard. Hello and welcome to A Voice for All. I am your host, Jahmeeah Gamble. I trust you've had a wonderful week. If at any point you'd like to get involved in tonight's discussion, feel free to tweet me. You could join the Jam Fam or even send me an email. I'd like to thank those of you who have been sending me emails because of you, I've been able to book some great guests on the show. As you know, on TV, every channel you go on, we have the Olympics. And I thought to myself, why not have the Special Olympics on A Voice for All? I'm so excited to have President and CEO Glenn MacDonnell. Did I say it right?
That's correct.
I've been practicing it in my head.
You did a great job.
Over and over again. Woo, okay, we're going to have a good show. I said your name. So welcome to A Voice for All.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy that you guys are on because working in the field, I've actually had a few athletes in bowling, not in other sports, mostly bowling. So this is a really special episode, and I'm glad you're here to join us.
You've met our athletes, you've met all the important people in the organization
right.
already.
And now I've met you. I think I started from the top down now. Is that the approach I'm taking?
Well, no, we're just custodians. But the athletes are the important things. And if you've met some of our athletes, and you've met the best.
So the show's done.
Absolutely.
Wrap it up. So tell me, what do you do in the organization? I know you're the president and CEO, but I'm sure there's so much more to that.
Well, Special Olympics is a charitable sport organization, so obviously there's always the fundraising part of it, but we're a sport organization first and foremost. And so, you know, how does Special Olympics run? It runs like minor sport runs. The only difference being is we've got 18 sports, or multi-sport,
wow.
and we've got you know, athletes from 8 to 88, as I like to say. So, you know, we run the gamut in terms of sport for life, really. You know, so
wow.
we're the poster child for sport for life. But really, it's supporting our volunteers, that army of 8,500 in this community. You know, 300 or 400 people volunteering, running the programs for 600, almost 700 athletes here in the Mississauga-Brampton area. So it is great program here. So
tell us some of the sports. You mentioned that there is 18. I know off the top of my head, bowling, basketball, and I think baseball. Yeah. I think, and golf. Softball and golf. Oh yeah. I mean, we've got, as you know, a great guest coming on here to talk about golf later. But yeah. I mean, to look at the sports, they sort of run on a game season, if you will, or a sports season. Okay. You know, so we have our winter sports, and just like the Olympics, only we don't have anybody doing luge, but we've got our winter sports, we've got our spring sports, which the basketballs and the bowling fit into, and then we've got our summer sports. You know, the track and fields, the softballs. And the golf. So and the golf. I should have brought my clubs. I left them in the car. I'm sorry. We're waiting for that snow to go away so we can get out in the course. I'm praying for the snow to go away. And you know, some of the athletes that you guys have, amazing individuals. And I think people they don't see who these guys are. And the amount of work that they're putting in. This is not just, you know, gym class. This is serious work and training that some of these athletes are doing. Well, you know, I think it's like anybody who's in sport. I think they'd say, well, the first and foremost thing, that it's healthy, it's a great activity, it's a social engagement for our athletes, just like it is for any of the rest of us who like to play in sports. But absolutely, our athletes take it seriously, whether they're a tremendous athlete or just an athlete like myself who goes out and enjoys playing with his buddies. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's sport. And our athletes really do. They take their training seriously, they take their sport seriously, but more than anything else, I think they have a great appreciation for what sport is, and that is that, you know, we play sport because we really enjoy it. Our athletes enjoy sport, I think, more than anybody that I've ever come across, and I've been around sport my whole life. I can attest to that. And that reminds me of the commercial that they have playing for the Olympics of behind each of these athletes is their parents, you know, and those people, the coaches that, you know, got them into this. So tell me about the parents and the coaches. Well, you know, it's been said that Special Olympics is a sticky organization, you know, and a lot of it has to do with the great capacity that parents and volunteers have for our athletes and what they do for our athletes and why they do it for our athletes. You know, we attract all kinds of people from the sporting world who will say, just, you know, when I got tired coaching, you know, generic sport, what a breath of fresh air. Because it's completely different. Just a great level of appreciation. And so, you know, and I always say that, you know, from a, you know, when you talk to a parent, you get a whole different perspective on really what the movement means to them as a family. I think if you look at someone with intellectual disability who may have had to
kind of work behind the scenes to sort of get seen.
Yeah.
Special Olympics offers a bit of a hand up in that regard. Still sport.
Okay.
But I think sport is as I mentioned before, it's a great social engagement for people. Most often, some of those volunteers who step forward, they get really caught by the web, as they call it, the sticky organization, simply because they said, listen, the people are so nice. And
it's infectious.
It is infectious. And so I think in a lot of regards, we couldn't do anything in our movement across 160 countries around the world, worldwide organizations run by volunteers.
I had to thought, it goes that far.
Absolutely. It's a worldwide organization.
Wow.
And so, I think, as you mentioned off the top, the Olympics would talk about a movement that brings people together. Special Olympics really brings people together. It brings it under, and the programs really, they run relatively speaking, they run the same way in Italy or Africa or Japan as they do here in Belleville or Mississauga or Brampton. And so that's the secret of it. Volunteers, supportive people with donations who provide funding to make the programs happen, and more than anything else, it's this whole collaboration that sport is a great activity to bring people together.
And that awareness too, right? There's so much awareness for mainstream sports, and that's another reason why I chose to have you guys as a guest, because I wanted to bring more awareness to the Special Olympics.
Well, you could have read my mind if you'd asked me, said, Glenn, what's the #1 thing the movement needs? I would have said awareness. So you read my mind. But
that's
really,
what we do here
in
a Voice for
awareness,
All.
So in this community, we're reaching out, and some of you are watching the show tonight, and they said, geez, I heard of Special Olympics, but how do I get involved? Well, I'm sure they can get a hold of our website, and
it's all at the bottom of the screen.
They can volunteer, and they can support us in so many different ways. And that's the thing, when I described how the programs run, and I was just looking at the stats in this community, out of that 700 athletes you spoke about, we've got about half of those athletes are sort of in the school-aged programs, so there's a whole bunch of new programs coming on board, and then we have a whole pile of athletes who are involved in what we call our core community programs, and they're all at various ages. So there's always a need for coaches. There's always a need for administrators.
So I could be a coach in bowling.
Absolutely, you could be a bowling coach.
Can I get a jacket with my name on it?
Absolutely, we get your name on. But we take that serious too. We provide some training for our coaches so that their athletes have a good coach. That it's just somebody off the street who doesn't know anything about the sport. But you can join, and very often what's attracted, if you're attracted, it's because you're a sports person. Hey, I like sport, and I think I could do that, and I think I'd be interested in working with Special Olympics. The reality is that you're exactly the kind of volunteer we're looking for.
Need. And it's people realizing that it's no different. Yes, it's you're working with people who may have a disability, but it's looking past that, and you're coaching someone who has a love for this sport.
I guarantee you that most coaches, whether they're a real veteran type of coach who's coached a lot of athletes in a lot of different sports, they'll come around our athletes, and within a nanosecond they'll say there is no difference here. No. They may need to use some tactical means to teach a person a skill that they're not good at, but as far as the level of concentration and appreciation that they'll have of that participant who you're instructing, most coaches would say, boy, they sure zone in better than some of the athletes I'm used to coaching.
And that is so true, because you do see the difference, I think, in its passion. I think the passion is maybe a bar higher than...
Passion and appreciation.
Both. Both. I think that it goes neck and neck, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable teaching the sport. Now, tell me about the athletes. Do you see the difference? When they first start, maybe they're a little bit hesitant, and when they leave, they're feeling like true athletes?
You see it in every way. You see the self-confidence comes out in a person who didn't have enough of confidence to come through the gym door. You'll see the skill improvement of the person who couldn't run track and now runs quite well. You'll see it in some of the sports that one would say, golf's a really tough sport, but you'll see the skill improvement in the golf or curling. Golf and curling are two relatively new sports.
Yes,
where you really, somebody's coming out in the curling ice, and they're throwing the rocks the first time, and you think they're going through the other end of the building. And then you watch...
That'd be me.
That's me too. Then you watch a Bonds field and watch the tactical elements like you watched Team Canada this morning. You see that with our athletes, and so
absolutely. There's
somebody's helped them. Somebody's helped to teach them the sport the right way. They take it really seriously, and they improve. But the thing you see that may even be different is the lifelong love for for the sport. I mean, I've been around the organization for 25 years, and I've made great friends who are athletes, and I've watched them, just blossom as people. And what a great thing if you can be part of.
That must be the best part of your job.
It's absolutely the best part. But you do enjoy watching how somebody who lacks. Everybody improves. We all improve with confidence.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big boost of confidence for many of our athletes where, someone's putting a little attention, a little bit of focus on that as an individual and watch them blossom, watch them find, as they say, their voices.
Well done. Well said. And if you are a coach who's watching the show tonight and maybe you're getting tired of the same old day-to-day job you're doing, Special Olympics is always looking for coaches. I want to be a coach. I think I'd be good in bowling.
I think you would be.
I got a pretty strong arm. But the important thing here is to realize that, yes, we have our mainstream athletes who do their sports day-to-day, but there are other athletes that we need to pay tribute to. They put the work in, they put that love in, and we need to recognize that. So thank you so much, Glenn, for being on The Voice for All. Thank you for sharing your information with Special Olympics. And I encourage you guys, the information's at the bottom of the screen. If you like to, help with Special Olympics, get involved. Maybe your child is a future athlete. Contact them today. I'm sure they love to hear from you. After the break, you will see our new guest, Kevin Pritchard. If you're a golf player, get that golf club out, get your swing ready, and we'll see you after the break. Once again, my name's Jahmeeah Gamble. This has been a fantastic interview with Glenn, CEO and President, 25 years and going.
And going.
And going.
Still going.
30 years, maybe?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You're not done yet.
I'm not done.
You're done yet. So we'll see you after the break. Special Olympics Ontario. For more information, visit www.specialolympicsontario.com, or you could call them at 888-333-5515. Welcome back to A Voice for All. If you're just tuning in, our episode today is about the Special Olympics. If at any point you like to tweet, join the Jam Fam, send me an email. All the information is at the bottom of the screen. It's a mouthful, so that's why I'm just going to point for you down there. In our last segment, we had Glenn, the CEO and president, but this time we have an athlete, a very talented and handsome athlete at that, Mr. Kevin. Before we begin the interview, I need to see your ID, because Kevin's apparently 35, but he looks like he's 17. So if you could just pull out your ID, sir. I'd like to check it just to make sure that you are 35 years old. Are you sure you're 35?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Welcome, Kevin. I'm so happy that you're here. And I see you're all decked out in your jacket and your medal. Can you tell us about your medal?
Yes, I won that. I won that in second place. Is in New Jersey.
Doing what?
Doing the golf.
You're a golf player.
Yeah, golf player.
I hear you're a man of other sports, though. What else do you play?
Yes, I do basketball, baseball, floor hockey, bowling, like 5-pin bowling, and golf.
Kevin, so you do all those sports, you might as well do synchronized swimming while you're at it. If you do all of this, you might as well get in the water and start splashing around. So tell me, what does Special Olympics do for you?
The Special Olympics does for me is to compete.
Okay.
To go to the provincials, the nationals, for golf. Golf is important to me because as I do this for a reason, and because I like the way when I swing a club, and I like my golf game. Yeah.
You should like a golf game. He's got a great golf game.
We're going to see these pictures after, but you said you shoot for a reason. Tell me about your uncle.
My uncle passed away about in May.
Okay.
And he sat at clubs for me. He has like his driver,
okay,
his fairway, his clubs of the woods, and I hit them really well.
Better than me, probably. And Glenn, apparently.
Way better than me.
Apparently better than both of us. But your uncle inspired you, didn't he? And your dad.
Yes.
And your dad. Let's give some credit to Dad for all that he's been doing for you. Tell me about the friends that you make in the Special Olympics.
My friends, and inside and outside, they look at me when I am out there.
They support you.
They support me, yes.
And that makes you feel awesome, okay?
Yes.
Makes you feel awesome.
Yes.
So on top of golf and all the sports you play, you also have a full-time job.
Yes, I have a full-time job. I've been at Walmart for 14 years.
How many?
14 years.
Wow, good for you.
Yes.
You got shares in the company now.
Yes.
Good for you. And the reason why I brought up where Kevin works is because the connection between being an athlete and working. To some of you, you might think, oh, Special Olympics, Kevin just plays sports and that's that. But you have to understand, when Kevin's playing these sports and when any of these athletes are playing these sports, it's preparing them for the workforce. I bet you're the most competitive person on your night shift.
Yes.
You must get everything going. You're racing everybody because you're an athlete. Do you work with your medal too?
Yes.
You might as well. So tell me about what made you choose golf. Why do you like golf so much?
I like golf because I'm taking some lessons.
Okay.
And it's my favorite sport. And it's a good opportunity for me to compete.
Would you say you're a competitive person, or you just like to have fun?
I like to have fun and support my golf game.
You see how he put it? Yeah. I don't want to say I'm competitive, but I like to support my golf game. Well said. So who are your favorite golf players?
My favorite golf player is Tiger Woods, Mike Weir, and Rory McIlroy.
Do you see yourself playing with those guys someday?
Yes, someday.
Maybe teach them a thing or two?
Yeah.
What do you think about Tiger's swing? I think it could do with a little bit more work.
Yes.
And speaking of your swing, let's see some of your pictures here.
I'll tell you, Jahmeeah, talk about a golf swing, and this is a great golf swing. Now look at that. I'm telling you, the Golf Channel couldn't put up a swing better than that. Kevin is a very good player. He's one of the very best players in Ontario.
That is a good swing.
Yeah, he puts a lot of time and effort to him. But you know, look at that. I mean,
let's get a good shot.
If Brandel Chambly was doing golf instruction tonight, he'd say that's the kind of form that you need. But Kevin puts a lot of time and effort into his golf game. He practices a lot. He's really improved. We've played many times together.
Is this right, Kevin?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he's a great guy to play with, but he does. I could speak for Kevin. He takes his game seriously. He works hard on it, and he improves all the things that he's not as good at. And so he'll take that back and he'll work on it. And every time that you go out and play with him, you can see that if it was a short game that wasn't as good, you put the time in, Kevin. That's why you continue to improve.
How long have you known Kevin?
I've known Kevin, I would say, about 15 years, Kev. We've known each other quite a while.
So if he looks this young, 15 years ago, how was he looking?
Because he works so hard and stays in great shape, and you know, when you really enjoy your sports the way Kevin does, I think it keeps you young too, eh, Kev?
Yes.
Those are two traits to ladies like Kevin. You work hard, you got a mean golf game, and you look young. What kind of girl are you looking for, Kevin? A smart one, an athletic one,
You need to know. You never know who's watching the show, who might be thinking, Kevin looks like a really cute guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Man of few
Humble.
words. Humble, right? And you know what he did there? He goes, I'm not going to say what kind of lady I'm looking for. They're going to find me. So how long do you see yourself playing golf, Kevin?
I've seen playing golf for 4 years.
4 more years and you're retiring?
No.
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 Whoa.
I'm going to keep going at it. I want to improve my game more.
Well said. Do you see yourself being a coach someday?
Someday.
Someday, but right now you're focusing on you?
Yes.
And if you weren't to play golf, what other sport would you choose to focus on right now?
Right now, I like my golf game, and it's a good opportunity for me to go out there, work hard.
But if you couldn't play golf, imagine if there was no more golf left in the world. Which would you choose? Baseball, basketball, bowling? Which one would you choose to focus on? It's hard to pick, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to pick. Yeah, and I like my golf game.
And you know what? You say you love your golf game, but how many of you have met, and I'm going to call you a professional athlete, because as long as you have a jacket and a medal, to me you're a professional athlete. But how many professional athletes do you see out there who could play that many sports? You think LeBron James or Tiger Woods, you know, swim and go do all these other things?
I think Kevin's like a lot of our athletes who play, you know, 2 or 3 sports. They enjoy some sports, and they're equal. Like Kevin, you know, you like them equal.
Yeah.
Play to participate, if you will.
Right.
But the one that they enjoy or take seriously is the one they work on the most. And I think for Kevin, it's golf, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
You know, that's the one and his focus, I think, if I could don't want to put words, he looks at that 4-year, you know, cycle because he knows those are games years. And so he sort of works towards it. And Kevin's a very goal-oriented guy. And so his focus, you know, he'll play the other sports, but when he focuses on golf, he's got a goal in mind, right, Kev?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to start playing golf, what are some good pointers for me to start playing? Are these shoes okay for me to golf in?
No. You need some golf shoes.
Golf shoes, okay. Golf shoes?
And you have to get like golf clubs.
Golf clubs, okay. Golf clubs.
And you need your golf bags, your golf umbrella.
Golf umbrella, what do I need that for? My hair?
No, so in case it rains.
Yeah, but for my hair, that's what I'm focusing on. But so that my face doesn't get wet or it doesn't, I could see? I don't understand golf. Need some tips.
Well, Kev's the competitive guys like Kev, they'll play through the rain, and so that'll keep his clubs dry, but keeps him dry and his hands dry mostly for golfers. I mean, you don't want to play in a downpour, but very often you'll get a bit of a drizzle, and you'll see the guys out there playing, and that's what. Gotta have that umbrella to keep the clubs dry and you dry, eh, Kev?
Okay. So you said you need your golf clubs, you need the shoes, you need your umbrella. What kind of attitude do you need to have? Do you need to have like a positive attitude? You don't care attitude?
No, you need to get a good attitude out there. So if you don't, your golf game is like off or on.
Is that what happened to Tiger Woods a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
His attitude's a little off?
Yeah.
Well, that's, you know what, Kevin's giving me some great tips here. But tell us more about you. Besides sports, what do you like to do besides sports?
Sometimes I have free times. Like I watch golf on TV.
You're a golf addict.
Yes.
Golf addict.
Yes, and I like the way when I watch golf, I could pick up some tips.
Okay. Well, you know what? You've heard for yourself. We've had Kevin. We've had Glenn. Thank you, Special Olympics, for being on the show. And if you ever see Special Olympics out there, I hope you support them. I'll see you guys next week. This has been A Voice for All.